So, major life announcement. I left nursing. Am I going to stay gone? I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure. I'm like 3 years away from retirement, and I have said in recent years that I will definitely be retiring at 62. No question. I know I can wait a little longer and get more money, but it's not worth it. Hold on. Sorry. I'm a little sad right now because I just watched the video of Charlie Kirk, and that's not really what I came to talk about, but I'm actually pretty devastated because we live in an evil, evil world, but maybe we'll talk about that later. But nursing, I can't do it anymore. I just can't. And it's not the patients, it's not the work. It's a lot of things. But nursing is draining. My daughter was in nursing school. She got accepted into the nursing program and she decided not to. The main reason was because they were requiring vaccinations, not the school, but the clinical sites. And so we talked about it for a few days and she made the decision to pull out.
Now, she's taking us all over the place, but shout out to the creator. I get where she's coming from, and she's been in the field for decades, and now she is deciding to, quit and retire from nursing. And I think she's about 3 years out from retirement. But at the same time, you're seeing this across the board. You're seeing so many people decide to leave the industry, deciding to quit after so much time. And of course, we can point the finger many different ways, right? We know that, nursing has always been a tough field. Nursing has always been, difficult to maintain, especially depends on what type of nurse you are. And by all means, I'm not a medical field expert. I'm not a nursing expert. But what I can tell you is a job as a nurse in the ER can be very different from a job as a nurse in, I don't know, let's just say a plastic surgeon place or something like that. Depends on the field is all I'm saying. But we're seeing an influx right now of so many nurses because there's so much more pressure, it feels like, because of a lot of the policies and a lot of things that are going on right now within the United States.
You want to know what sucks? What sucks is working behind people who don't give a shit. It is heartbreaking how many people out here in healthcare just don't care. I am so flabbergasted at the amount of people who do not care about what they do. How do you sleep at night? Tell me, please, because I would love to be able to turn it off and not worry about what you're not doing. I would love to be able to turn it off and say, you know what? Not my problem. I would love to hear a justification for how you signed up for a job to care for human beings. It's literally in the name, healthcare. Like, you have to care, right? Or am I just completely off base with that? How do you sign up for a job to care for human beings and you just don't give a shit? I'm sorry if I keep asking the same question, but it is astonishing to me the number of people that are employed as healthcare professionals who do not care. I am so beyond frustrated.
Yep, and we've seen this tale a lot of times, right? Like, I'm not going to come out here and act like this is something that's brand new. But I do think what we're seeing within, industry, and it's not just healthcare. I think we're seeing this across the board. And I actually just made a video about this, about Americans working super hard and can't get ahead within life. And I don't think this has anything to do with, they don't care about people's health. But I think most people have a level of self-reflection when they are within their jobs, to where they're like, all right, I can't get ahead. Like, I'm stressed out in my personal life to the point to where, yeah, I'm gonna show up to work, I'm getting paid, but at the same time, I can't get ahead, right? Like, I'm not progressing in life. So it bears on you mentally. Like, it puts a huge burden on you to the point of where, yes, it does impact people like her who do care within life. And maybe she's well financially, or maybe it doesn't impact her, and maybe she's not well financially. We don't have that context. But I do think what we're seeing right now across the board with a lot of the nurses, a lot of teachers, a lot of, people within different fields and different sectors, they're just like, God, why am I doing this? They're coming to work frustrated and, given what they can at the moment that they in. By all means, am I saying that is okay? Am I saying that you should be doing that? Absolutely not. I'm just telling you the natural reaction as a human being.
I hate being a nurse. And that might be a strong statement. And I literally feel like I'm gonna get upset, but I have been a registered nurse for 10 years. I have changed jobs several times because everybody's like, the great thing about being a nurse is if you don't like one area, you can go to another. And I've done ER, I've done NICU, I've done private duty, I've done IV hydration. I've tried all these different things, and I hate it. I hate being a nurse. There are so many nurse content creators on here that love it, and like, I'm so happy that they have found a career that they have loved. But after a decade of being a nurse, I hate it, and I want a new career. So if you love your job and you make a good living, please comment what you do for a living, because I can't be a nurse anymore. I hate it. I am so upset. I just hate being a nurse, and I wish I had never gone into this career because it has broken me down so many times. And like, even when I try to get a low stress nursing job, it's not low stress. I'm still dealing with a lot of the same stuff that I used to have to deal with when I was working in the hospital, and I just can't do it anymore. I cannot do it anymore. And if you're looking to go to nursing school, don't do it. Do not do it. If you want to work in the medical field and you want to help people, go into radiology, become a radiology tech, become a surgical tech. Do not become a nurse.
Now, I get where she's coming from. She's speaking from firsthand experience, from her experience in her life as being a nurse. And by all means, am I saying that this is the holy grail? And yeah, she has the experience. Absolutely. But your experience is not the same experience as everybody else for in the field. And I get it. She's probably coming from a perspective of she's frustrated. Like, it looks like she got off from work. Maybe she got on scrubs. That could be completely wrong. Maybe that's just a regular outfit. But at the same time, she's speaking from her experience. And it doesn't mean that everybody's experiences is the same way. It also doesn't mean that everybody is sitting back thinking about quitting the role right now. That's not the case, because as a matter of fact, you have people who are trying to join the field because right now it is one of the most stable careers that you can have within America. You can, if you get a job within the nursing, because of the shortage right now, because of so many different hospitals needing nurses, if you get a degree and you get specialized as a nurse, you can go and work anywhere around the United States. So while I understand exactly where she's coming from, and I agree, right? It probably is tough. It probably is one of the harder roles. But no matter which field you go into, no matter which, company, which hospital, which, field, it doesn't matter. It's work at the end of the day. And every single place have its own set of issues. And I'm very curious to see, as she progresses within life and as she decides to, find a new field, and hopefully she can find a new field, how, her thoughts and how her mindset shifts after a matter of maybe a decade or so, because initially it probably will be a relief on her shoulder, right? She probably will be absolutely ecstatic and happy, but over time, what does that look like inside of her life? But like I said, it just depends on the people and depends on and it's very ironic that I say that within making this video, but at the same time, I think it's a valuable asset to the video.
I'm saying this in the most respectful way possible, but no amount of self-care days, retail therapy is going to fix the absolute dread on your soul that is your bedside nursing job. Also said in the most respectful way possible, but sometimes it's just not going to get better. And it's actually really cool to quit a job that makes you miserable. And who cares if it hasn't been a year since you started? Who cares if you're going to lose your skills? Chances are the unit is always going to be short-staffed. The unit will always give you way too many critical patients at one time. The nurses are probably always going to be mean, and you probably weren't meant to be there in the first place. I am saying all of this because I wish somebody sat me down and said, stop choosing to be miserable. Stop allowing your job to consume your life. Stop thinking that you have to stay somewhere because of societal norms, and choose yourself. Nurses love to wear their burnout and misery like a badge of honor. Like, if you're not burnt out or miserable at your job, you're not doing it right. And that is such flawed logic, in my opinion. And let's use critical thinking here and know that if you love your job and you have a healthy work-life balance, this video is not for you. But I'm talking to the people who have physical symptoms when thinking about their job, who have weight on their chest, who cry before every shift, who have so much dread surrounding the nursing career. I'm going to slap you in the face in a nice way and say, apply for other jobs, and just quit.
Yeah, and I agree to an extent. I'm not saying just don't just quit your job. Absolutely not, because I think that is a blanket statement, and she's not saying like up and quit, right? I hope she's not saying that. I think she's saying find different roles, find different ways, because if you up and quit and leave all your income in the past, that's just gonna put you in even a worse position than where you already are, especially if you don't have a support system behind you, right? Like everybody's situation is different. I don't think that everybody should, follow just quit your job, because we've seen that, that was actually a trend a couple months ago where people are like, oh, just quit your job and you'll be fine. You'll figure it out. Like, no, that's not how it works. And I don't think that's what she's necessarily saying. But at the same time, I do think it is a very valuable experience that you get while in the struggle, right? And I think that everybody should experience the struggle just a little bit, right? Like you understand what is it like to really do something that you don't like, and it builds a very valuable character within yourself, because I guarantee you, if you sit there and struggle for a year, 2 years, maybe even 3 years, and then you finally wake up and say, all right, I'm done struggling. I'm tired of struggling. I'm tired of this life. You're going to look back a couple years in the future, maybe 5, maybe 10 years in the future, and that is going to be your why, right? And that's going to be very powerful, because when you make it to where you want to be in your life, you find the perfect career, you find the perfect business, you build a perfect style, whatever it is that you want to do in your adventures of life, right? You're going to look back and you're going to say, that's my why, because I don't want to be back at that position. And by all means, am I saying that nursing is the worst field in the world? Absolutely not. I actually think nursing is a great field within America. But at the same time, you have to think about how you're doing different things and what is your experience. And do you have to be there forever, right? Like, it just depends on the situation.